Alright guys, I actually fixed up a few lights around my room because I think it'll be pretty sick with some proper lighting. I watched a few videos and I think I'm proper lighting pro. So I'll actually show you this, live on camera. Let me see. Wait, you guys can hear me, but I can't hear you. Okay. All right. Let me show you what I got in the room.
But looks big, no?
Alright, we have light one. This is the fill light. It fills the room. That's light two, boys. This is the backlight. It gets the room. It's pretty sick. And the last and final light is the key light, which is the main fucking light. And it lights up the talent. But there you have it, boys.
That's Abdul.
That's me, boys. Okay, guys, welcome back to another episode of Nonversations. Thank you so much for tuning in. My name is Abdul, and you are here with Jason and Shavi as well. And this is episode 3. Alright, guys, on this episode, we're going to talk about celebrities. We're going to talk about a bunch of inspirational people. We're going to talk about Kanye West running for president. And we're going to talk about Steve Jobs on LSD.
And bathwater.
And bathwater, and let's dive right in.
Okay, so today I think we decided to stray away from gaming and get into something a bit more interesting. So what we decided was people that we think are inspirational and a bit more, and people we could look up to and people we could take something away from. And I think we compiled a list. So I think maybe Abdul would like to go first and tell us.
Yeah, dude, I have a bunch of interesting people that I think were really smart with how they grew up and how they lived their lives. Like I have a bunch of names. I have Mark Cuban, I have Kevin O'Leary, Maria Sharapova, Patrick Mahomes, Gary Vaynerchuck, The Rock, Kevin Hart, Jay-Z, Elon Musk, Steve Jobs, Jeff Bezos. I want to talk about all of them, but I actually brought each and every one of these people because of one important point from all these people. And like Mark Cuban, that was something that I found very interesting. When he was 12 years old, dude actually sold garbage bags to buy his first basketball shoe. It was an expensive pair of shoes, and I think that was actually pretty sick. It was it's crazy, when you're 12 years old and you think that far, and you sell garbage bags. And now he's worth $4.3 billion, and that's
I just want to know how much those garbage bags cost, dude. Because that's a lot. That's a lot of garbage bags, or someone, or it was like Supreme garbage bags or something.
Yeah, obviously he had a lot of startups and a lot of business ventures. But no, but it's pretty sick because something interesting also. He actually bought an NBA team called the Dallas Mavericks. He bought them for almost $300 million. And at that time, people said that it was in 1980 something, and they said it was a ton of money. It's too much money to invest into a team, to be I think he's the sole owner. And now the team is worth $2.2 something billion. And it just goes to show how much you can actually go against the people that have their opinions on you, and you can actually do something for yourself. And if you believe in it, you can get something done. That's pretty cool. And there's some other name on the list. It's not very popular. His name is Kevin O'Leary. Obviously, I got him from Shark Tank because I watch Shark Tank a lot. I recommend Shark Tank again if you're getting flashbacks from episode 1. But Kevin O'Leary, he's called Mr. Wonderful, and he's worth $400 million. And one of the stories that really sort of inspired me was he said that when he was young, when he was small, he worked for an ice cream shop, and he was just scooping ice cream the entire time. He was a regular employee, started off his life. I think he had some immigrant parents, and he had a tough childhood. So somehow he was scooping ice cream, and this one day, he wanted to impress the girl in the opposite store, right? And what he did was he wanted to take her out for drinks after his shift, his late shift or whatever. So he's working in the store. He was ready to leave. He packed up his bags, and right before he left, the manager comes in and he's like, I think it was a she. I think she's like, "You're not gonna leave the store until you clean the chewing gum off the floor." And at that moment, he was shook because he wanted to impress the chick. The chick was waiting for him. He was so excited, to go on a date with her, and he said no. He's like, "I came to scoop ice cream. I didn't come to clean the floor." And she's like, "You're fired." And he's like, that's one big moment that sort of made him realize that he would never want to be an employee for the rest of his life. There's nothing against employees, but it's just the fact that, if you want to take control of your life and if you want to, I don't know, build your own business and be the boss of your own shit, that's the way to go. And now, yeah, and now he's worth 400 million. He said something that's very, you could say it's a bit, I guess, controversial, but he said, you can either be the one who cleans the shit off the floor or who owns the store. I mean, you get to choose. So, it's just a tough line from him, but, he's worth $400 million, and his mindset actually got him to where he is right now. There's a bunch of other people, but I just, I'll push it to Jason to see what people he brought up, because I think Jason has some interesting people. So let me see.
I don't have a lot of people. I just have two people on my list. One of them I actually find really inspiration, and the other guy is pretty cool. He's all right.
Yeah.
So I kind of like him as well. But I'm gonna start off with you may know Shetty.
Oh yeah.
He's a British Indian blogger. He was formerly a monk before he turned into a blogger. And I find him pretty cool because he was able to go to that the state of mind where you go towards being a monk, where you find complete inner peace, put all on the bullshit out of your life, and transition from that to becoming a vlogger. That's a huge transition from like having nothing to almost having everything. And he's not worth a lot right now. He's worth like 2.5 million, but I think the words and the idea he puts out there is much. It's worth more than his actual monetary value. Yeah, that's all I have on him, dude.
No, but that's true. That's true because I think I'm following his podcast on Spotify.
Yeah.
And he has some pretty sick shit, bro. Like he has some pretty. I think that's when I was sort of like introduced to him because I didn't know much about him before. And then I was just yeah.
He has also had like on the podcast and mostly interviews and stuff. He has had a lot of big names as well, like Russell Simmons, Deepak Chopra, Kobe Bryant, and the Tim Ferriss. I don't know who the hell that is, but yeah.
Mm-hmm.
He has had people like that, and he has been on Ellen as well. Like, you made it if you're on Ellen. I mean, come on, and like the Today's Show and all that stuff. He has also won like a lot of pretty interesting awards. If I can let you know here, it's he got the Outstanding Achievement Online Award at the Asian Awards in 2019, and also he won. He was accused of. He won this award while he was accused of completely plagiarizing other people's work. But that again is how you view the whole situation. Like, I mean, you don't find a lot of people who went from monks to being bloggers, or from that kind of a state of mind to what a blogger state of mind is right now. But I watched I watched quite a lot of his stuff, and it's pretty inspirational, and he's pretty cool, man.
Yeah, that's very true.
I don't know. Not gonna lie, when I first heard about the whole monk to blogger thing, gave me a bit of a bad impression because you don't really want to hear that. I don't know what kind of monk he was. I'm assuming Buddhist monk. But if not, then I don't know. So because my opinion is usually if once you become a monk, you it's more of like a commitment and stuff. But you can also think of it in a way that he realized that maybe what he learned he wants to spread out and he felt like becoming a blogger would give him a better platform than just being a monk. And that also makes sense, because especially with like younger people, they're more likely to listen to some popular person rather than a monk. Like, it's just because it's not cool to listen to religious people. That's just a natural mindset that people have. So yeah, so if you think about it more, it becomes more like, okay, it makes sense. That I don't know, I have not heard of the guy, to be honest, but if he's doing what I think he's doing, then I have a lot of respect for him, because
I mean, the stuff he preaches as well, I'm not too sure, but I kind of feel like it's through his learnings towards becoming a monk, because he talks about a lot about relationships and mental health and wellness and all that kind of stuff.
Yeah, it's a pretty sick
So
dude, you know. He sort of keeps you in check in during tough times. Because remember, you know, I used to look for him in tough times. But even someone very similar to that, I would think would be Gary Vaynerchuck, Gary V. Because I think
yeah,
he's a fucking inspirational person, dude. I swear to you, if you follow his Instagram, I guarantee you that you will not regret it, because there's something in his style of advice, in his like in his approach to different things that actually blows my mind. There's this one time, okay? Now he's always putting up stuff about positivity, about motivation, you know, starting your own business, controlling your destiny sort of vibe. He always puts up shit like that. But there's one video on Instagram that I saw recently, like just recently, you know, like a week ago or something, about how it started off with him eating blueberries. So I thought it's a regular video of him eating food, and I thought, you know, that it's like a vlog kind of video. It's about him eating food, and it was just a random video that someone has taken. And he starts the video off eating blueberries. Okay, so he eats a ton of blueberries at a time, and he's just gobbling them, bro. He's not even like properly chewing on them, and he's just like freaking gobbling the blueberries. And the cameraman's like, bro, why do you eat so fast? You know, like, why don't you just like slow down and eat? You know, calm down a little bit. And he's like, guys, I'm gonna tell you, I'm gonna what do you call, reveal something to you guys. Is that a lot of people spend so much time on breakfast, lunch, and dinner that they, you know, they get their breakfast ready. You know, they get on Netflix, they get on YouTube, they waste a ton of time. He's like, I'm not a part of those people, and you know, I value my time so much that, you know, I eat that fast. I know it's a pretty insane thought. Obviously, you take a lot of time to eat your food and whatnot, but his sort of mindset so different and so direct that I swear, if you follow his page, you'll find some value out of it. You know, fucking shout out to Gary. Fucking hope he sees the video, you know, one day.
he's a pretty hardcore kind of guy, you know, like that tough
Yeah,
love, you know.
he's straight up. He's very straight up. But sometimes you will actually get offended by his shit. But like in a
I'm not
very
offended. I like to take my time with my meals, but
no, it's definitely
no,
fine. You
but
know,
it's the
that's
example he's trying to set through it, no, rather
yeah, bro.
than
Like a lot of his shit, you know, maybe the first week or the first month you follow his page, you'd see you'd feel a bit offended by the approach he has. But then once you get used to it a little bit, you know, you see how many people he's helped. You know, you go through the comments on any of his posts. Like I bet maybe 60 to 70 to 80% of the people are just thanking him for the help that he gives out. You know, every single video is helpful to someone. So I think, you know, if you guys listen to this, check him out. You know, and you gain some value out of this page.
it works for people who need that tough love kind of this, you know, like that. Because obviously different people are motivated in different ways. Like for me for example, I prefer more. I think that's why I didn't really like the sound of his approach, because I prefer more, you know, hey, you want to do this? Let's do this, kind of like a suggestive, not suggestive, in a more you know, nicer way of doing it, rather than, you know, do this or you're wasting your
Yeah.
time. You know?
So like careful, controlled advice. Sort of thing.
Exactly. I think that comes from my own personality. But yeah, so for many other people, it's more like, you know, snap out of it. What the fuck are you doing? Uh, get back on your feet, kind of thing. And for those kind of people, I guess when he has the balls to do that, it really works for them.
I think it's best for like entrepreneurs who are finding it difficult or starting off kind, who are like going through a tough time and they just need that bit of motivation kind of thing.
Yeah, like I think you have to be inherently tough to take that kind of tough criticism as well. And I know for a fact that I'm not the tough mentality kind of person. But I understand that this thing is taking it, but there's also balance, no? Because because the problem is you have to be a bit of a big person to make those sort
All
of
right, right. Claims.
claims and all that, because you see this nobody come up and say you guys are wasting your time eating breakfast and stuff. You come off as pretentious, and people are going to be like, who the fuck is this guy to tell me I'm wasting my time when I'm eating? Because I've seen so many like small, like still like super rich people, like millionaires.
Yeah.
They're really successful, but they haven't really earned the right to tell people, yeah, I do this, but you guys don't do this. I'm better than your kind of. You have to earn that sort of the right to have that sort of approach. And this guy has obviously earned it. That's why he has all these such a large influence and stuff. I'm pretty sure even though you say people that don't really know about him, but he probably has like hundreds and thousands
Yeah.
of people listening to him every day. But yeah, it's an approach that you need to earn, in my opinion at least. You can't be nobody and say you tell someone you suck. Not you suck, but like stop being a pussy and get back to it.
Right. Now, maybe I didn't do him enough justice in describing him, but I'm telling you, bro, like you just check him out. Anyone listening, just check him out, and you
I
see things
I
in
think
different light.
he started off as some kind of a wine connoisseur or something, where he
Yes, he
did
did. He
videos
did.
of wine or some.
He
Yeah, I saw
was.
a bit about that.
He started off working in a wine store, something along the lines of that, and yeah, he is a pretty sick advisor now. I don't know exactly what
I
he
think I
does.
saw he had put a post up today. It was like he put a picture of his wine store he worked in. He was like, I worked here for 10 years. Then he put a picture of him making videos on YouTube. I did this for 11 years. And then he put a picture of his company, Vaynerchuck Industries or whatever. I can't remember what it's called.
Yeah,
But now I work here forever. And then the last page was, if you want to be like me, you got to go through this shit or something like that. But I saw that today. I didn't click until now.
and even like two people that straight up come to the top of your mind when you think about hustle in the entertainment businesses, Kevin Hart and The Rock. And even when Kevin Hart came on Joe Rogan's podcast, straight up, Joe Rogan was like the first thing he said is like, I don't like the fact that you and The Rock make me feel like a worthless piece of shit at home because of the amount of shit that you do, like the amount of stuff that Kevin Hart gets involved in, the amount of stuff that The Rock gets involved in. They literally like freaking touch every single thing that they possibly can to, and not just to make profit, but like with that mindset that they have, they're not gonna let anything slide. They see any opportunity that they have, they're gonna straight up go for it, and which it straight up explains how successful they are. Like even the Rocky started off as a wrestler. He was one of the popular wrestlers at the time, and he was in his prime, and he retired. And people said, that was the worst move of his career. He even talked about it. I think he wanted to be an NFL player growing up, and then he got into wrestling. He was in his peak of his career, and he retired. It was a tough call for him. He got into Hollywood. People were like, you're not gonna do this. You can't do Hollywood. You're doing a pretty bad job. And now, he's literally on top of the world and like sitting on the throne. And I think,
Dude,
yeah,
he makes more money per post on Instagram than Kylie Jenner now. He earns more than $1 million a post on Instagram compared to Kylie Jenner, where she made like 950 something thousand. He's currently the richest social media presence on the internet.
that's
That
fucking
and
crazy, bro.
also I find the Rox and Kevin Hart's relationship pretty sick, dude. I
Yeah.
think Kevin Hart met in an accident recently where he had a huge spine injury or something. And there's this show, who Kelly Clarkson is there. So she's a singer. She has her own like a TV show that she recently started, and Kevin Hart was supposed to be on the show, but then he couldn't be there because he met in this accident. So The Rock covered for him for his show, and like it just shows how close they were, kind of, because like Kevin Hart or Kelly Clarkson didn't ask The Rock to be on the show, but he came in place of his friend or his brother Kevin Hart. What is it? It is when you see stuff like that.
Yeah, these guys are really close, and they're both freaking successful. And even Kevin Hart's releasing a movie. I saw a trailer just recently. I think he put it up on his page like a few days ago on his birthday. I think it's called Die Hard. It's already funny, but just the name itself cracks me up. Like Die Hard. Fuck. I think it'll be a good movie. Excited for that.
But then the two of them had a really bad movie together as well. No, what was it?
Central Intelligence. You're talking about that?
Central Intelligence. That was a
Yeah.
movie. But
yeah,
that's more, I think, on the screenwriters and directors and shit. It was like really bad lines, and
I think they did the best they could. So.
Yeah, given that was not on them. It's just
even the range that they have. Kevin Hart's comedian, so okay, playing comedy roles is alright. But even The Rock, to go from wrestling to like he wanted to be an NFL player to wrestling to Hollywood to he started his own tequila company. I forgot the name also. How is that possible? I freaking saw this shit even today. But he started his own tequila company, tequila business. He has his own show, the Titan Games. Oh, he has like.
Dude, I watch every episode of that. Dude.
Are you serious?
Dude, I don't know. Recently, I got in this whole reality show kind of thing, so I watch all these reality game shows.
Too hot to handle.
We talked about this before, no?
Straight up interesting. But yeah, when episode 3, guys, freaking love the support we had so far. Episode 2 is lighting up the views.
Okay, so I mean, I don't want to call them inspirations. It's just people that, okay, 2 of them I look up to. The other person I just think is like
sick
someone that not admire. Sorry?
Sick personality?
No, dude, it's not sick personality at all. Like
sick as a disgusting personality.
Not disgusting either. It's just admirable in a like what she's done kind of thing.
Right.
But we'll get to that later, will you? So I know the people I like properly admire. I am pretty sure it's expected by his Pewdiepie and Jacksepticeye, who I've been watching for like the last 10 years. No, not 10 years. Maybe 7 years-ish. Because I don't know, because they give more of the vibe that I'm into. They are not like overly inspirational or anything like that, but they're very down to earth considering how successful they've been as YouTubers, because they are like one of the biggest if you think about it. To be honest, I haven't watched a lot of Pewdiepie and Jacksepticeye recently, but I still follow them on Instagram and stuff, and I see what they're up to, and the life in particular that Pewdiepie lives now is pretty cool, dude. Like considering what he had, he was also someone who had nothing. He had this really shitty PC, and he just started these Let's Plays for fun back in 2010, I think. And he just went with it. Like he just did it as like a hobby, as like a pastime, or like something to just keep him distracted from like uni and stuff, because apparently he wasn't doing too hot in uni. And so that grew up organically. Like I don't think he did any like he follow me or all that stuff. He just did what he was doing and enjoyed it, and it grew organically and it worked out for him. And I feel like that's low-key what
you have to admit he's not as funny as he was before.
No, he's not. He's really not. Like even he admits if he had become a YouTuber now, there's absolutely no way he would have been as successful now as he is. Fuck, you all understand what I mean. So But yeah, so it kind of comes down to luck as well and timing. Like he got into the YouTube thing at the proper time because now it's so saturated. You get so many different people trying the same thing. It's really hard to stand up. But back then, there was not a lot of people doing let's plays, and I think specifically horror let's plays was not too common. So I mean, that's where he grew. No, he started playing Amnesia and all that. It was all his reaction. It wasn't really the gameplay. I think he was a good gamer, but he was not like pro. Like he didn't do mad plays and shit. It was his genuine personality that sold his channel, and that's what I feel is admirable. Same thing with Jacksepticeye. Jacksepticeye is little bit more inspirational. Like he would have, these random episodes where he talks about his feelings. How he feels about the channel, how appreciative he is of how much it's grown and all that. And it's not, I don't know, I really love watching those kind of things because then they're showing their emotion, they're being open about it, and it makes them feel more human and stuff, a lot more relatable, like, and they acknowledge the fact that they were really fucking lucky to get to where they were. I don't know, it's mainly that makes me, like adore them so much. It's not really, PewDiePie really isn't that funny anymore. He is occasionally, but I don't really enjoy his content anymore. But I still look up to the guy considering everything he's achieved. Like even if you take the whole family aspect, like he settled down and all that shit. He's having a good. He fucked up quite a lot, especially the past 2 years, and nothing really to say about that. He fucked up, and that was really fucking dumb of him. But I feel like he's learned from all that. Jacksepticeye, I don't think had any controversial things at all. So yeah, that's I don't know if you all have anything to say about the two of them, because
I don't. For me, of course, now I find PewDiePie's audience is like very
cringe,
specific, dude. It's kind of like a cult. Like if you don't watch, if you haven't been watching him for some time, you wouldn't understand what he's talking about. He talks about this random shit that's like an actual thing in his community. But like I can't understand his videos anymore now. Maybe that's why I don't like it as much as I used to.
No, you have to keep up because there's so many of these like PewDiePie specific memes that start up and then it comes up and then you're like, what the fuck does this mean? And then you have to go like 10 episodes back to find out who freaking Yogan or some fucking horses.
Dude, I just watched one of his videos recently, like maybe a minute or two of it, and then he was shouting this flow gang thing. I have no idea what the fuck that meant, dude.
So that was
Apparently it's some
basically...
Reddit thing.
No. That was basically because he moved to a new house and he didn't have a desk and he was sitting on the floor. It's dumb shit. And I think it's because his audience is very young now. And we've obviously grown up as well. So we don't really find it as funny. Like the humor just isn't mature enough anymore. And I mean, fair enough. So if that's where the money's coming from, dude, I get it. I would do that as well. Which brings me to the third person who, she's admirable in, she did what she had to do to get rich and...
Oh, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Who is it?
Kim K.
No, not Kim K.
No, I know who you're talking about. I know who you're talking about.
Oh, don't do this.
I don't know. I
can't remember the name, but you know who I'm talking about.
Yeah,
Don't get stressed.
It's Belle Delphine.
Ah, yes.
Abdul Belle Delphine. She's the girl. She was a streamer. I think she was a streamer. I'm not sure anymore. She's a e-girl.
Okay.
She's the girl who sold bath water. Her bath water to people that who were thirsty for her or who were like obsessed with her, and she made money, dude.
I bring up another fucked up story. Fuck.
Leave it to Shavi, man. Leave it to Shavi.
Shavi, my mom watches these videos.
There were people buying like this small jar of her shower. It does, like, how do you even know it's the actual shower water? It could just be soapy water, in a jar. She was selling it for how much? Fucking $30 a jar. 30 USD a jar. You're telling me you wouldn't do that?
Okay, it is Interesting
No,
though.
dude,
When you think about it.
I would do that. I wouldn't sell my bath water for.
So it's not even your real bath water. Just take a giant.
Yeah, if it's not my actual bath water, I would.
How would people know, dude? You think of someone who's buying the bath water for $30 is smart enough to test it out?
Didn't put it like that.
Interesting, bro. Interesting.
And after that, she made a dude. She's like the ultimate troll if you think about it, right? She told now she's never released a nude. All the stuff she does, it's all skimpy clothing. There's very little left to the imagination, but still there's actually nothing. There's no nudity. But a while back, she's like, if I get 1 million likes on this particular picture on Instagram, she'll make a Pornhub account. And she made a Pornhub account, okay? But everyone assumed she was making the account to, actually feature on it. And then she would have episodes like Belle Delphine strokes 2 cocks. And it's 2 actual hens that she's playing with.
Oh, shit.
And then she had a premium on that and people paid for that. It was just more of this tame shit. Like there was more skimpy, there was more erotic stuff on her Instagram than her Pornhub account. And then she disappeared for a while, right? And she came back recently. She had a parody of 6ix9ine's song Goober. And then she started an OnlyFans account. And that filled up, like it was like I think $40 a month. And that I think in a day she got like 10K USD off of people just subscribing to her OnlyFans. And I can guarantee you, even there, it's very unlikely that she'll actually post anything like any nudity. But she's preying on these thirsty guys, these horny guys. Dude, she's smart, man. I don't agree with her methods, but at the same time, she did what it took. And if you're a good-looking person, and if you can do that, and if you're willing to do it, I feel like that warrants weird sort of respect. And also, and she still roasts the people who pay. Like she's like, you weirdos are buying all my OnlyFans and shit, and these people don't even fucking realize that, right? They're still like, hey, brother, take my money, I want to see TVs, and all that shit. And yeah, it's funny.
It's fucked. We're not gonna end on that story though after this episode and leave everyone just looking.
I clearly spent too much time on the internet, man. But
also, I wanted to bring up our boy Kanye West. Kanye West is running for president. He's like 2020 is his year, is what he said. And the first comment
on the US collapses into a meme state, dude. There'll be the meme.
The first free comment on his tweet, I think one of the first comment, but one of his comments was MKBHT, Jason's boy, MKBHT, commented saying, I think you're already too late, some shit, And I think it's just like a marketing stunt and a very weird stunt to maybe put Trump back on the map in terms of the election and possibility of winning and stuff. So that's Kanye West becoming president really fucked the country up, and it's not possible for him to even become president with this short time left. And they're all saying that it's sort of a stunt to get him or to get people who are voting for Biden to switch their votes and vote for Kanye, so that it will level the playing field and Trump would have a higher chance of winning. That is a very possible thought, and
that's true. Yeah. I actually saw a video about that. Something similar like that.
It's very possible Trump, had some scheme going on. Don't at me, Trump. But that's fucked though. Were you doing an impression? Oh, fuck,
Hoping
dude.
I thought you already noticed, but shit.
If
Yeah, I saw
any
some.
actor or famous person was running for president, dude, I would love to see The Rock run for president, man.
Dude,
He has everything it
exactly.
takes.
Yeah, he would actually make a sensible president.
Yeah.
But how likely is that happening of them electing a sensible person as president?
No,
When
but
does
he actually said that, he actually uh, admitted on someone, I think on the Ellen show or something. It came up, people like, I think Ellen was like, or somewhere it came up saying that, people want you to be the president of this country. Would you do it? And he said, I would actually consider it, and then give people a bit of hope. And I honestly think in the future he will run for president. I have
he
a
could?
good feeling that he will.
But then that's the end, dude. No more movies, no more wrestling, nothing,
No
dude.
movies, no wrestling. Yeah, I can just imagine, bro. Imagine the president of the United States coming back for one more match.
One more match.
One more match. That light me up, dude. Imagine like a fucking broken down John Cena comes back for that one more match. Oh, yeah, that's possible, dude. That's
Or they have a president movie and it's the actual president of the United States.
I said you, bro. Some hilarious shit can happen, when Hollywood actors become president. So I want to ask you guys this one thing, okay? If you guys believe this or not, or if you guys think this is interesting, but we talked about all successful people. We talked about a bunch of very popular dudes, and I didn't bring up Elon Musk or Steve Jobs or Jeff Bezos, but did you know that Steve Jobs had admitted to taking LSD in the 1970s to make sure that he would it would enhance his creativity, so that he would envision the iPhone and the the phone, the entire company and everything. I think that's a very interesting idea. And he actually, I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but I legit did some research a few days ago, and I saw that he admitted to taking LSD. And he said it was one of the two most important things he has done in his life. What do you guys think about that?
I feel like psychedelics gets a worse rep than it deserves, considering how widely accepted alcohol. This is a whole different topic, dude. But yeah, this is a whole different topic. I have so much to say about all this.
No, but this considering the fact that it
So
took,
even the Beatles were apparently like towards the like the latter part, their music changed because apparently they were always tripping balls on psychedelics and stuff, and that made their music a lot more not better but different in a more enjoyable way.
this all get more creative.
Yeah, it makes
they're on
sense.
the
It widens your imagination and shit. Like, it sounds interesting to me.
Jason, what do you think, bro? You didn't say anything about this. I'm interested to see what Jason thinks.
It's a lot, dude. Like,
It's a lot to process. I think that.
But I had an entire
Shavi
light
said-
shop there.
like Shavi said, like it's a huge topic, dude. Like there's a lot that I'm thinking of. So,
It's a very
maybe
interesting
it's
topic.
something
Yeah.
we can talk about drugs and alcohol and all that.
Drugs
all
and
that stuff.
recreational medicinal products.
Yeah,
But
that's a topic for another day, I think.
another day.
Another day. Not next episode. Another day.
Okay, this is the end of episode 3. Thank you so much for watching. We're actually going to bring guests for one of our future episodes. We haven't thought about who exactly yet, but I think that'll be a very interesting route that we can take. But if you enjoyed this episode, just drop a like, and we'll see you next time.
I'm losing time again, trying to figure out who I am.
Alright guys, welcome back
Alright
to
guys,
the
welcome back to another
Nonversations.
episode of
Thank you so much
Nonversations.
for tuning in. My name is Abdul
Thank you
and
so
you
much
are
for
here
My
for
name is
episode
Abdul,
3.
and now you're here for episode 3.
Three.
Alright, sick, I like it.